Coming at you live, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to Nation's Corner. I am Front Row, joined as always by Deb the Great and Powerful, Mongrovian Mike, and John in South Jersey. What's up, people?
Hello.
What
Set the clock back 20-something years.
Mongrovian, you're muted. Come on.
Of course. Why would he be?
Is this Netflix? What are we doing here?
Come on. How long have we been doing
They
this?
better have this fixed before WWE starts. This is embarrassing! Exclamation point.
Oh, shit.
So
Anywho.
after sitting through that Michigas last night, now we all know why we're friggin' pro wrestling fans instead of that, whatever you call that.
That was 100% pro wrestling.
I know,
Of
but
course it was. I didn't even see the whole thing, and I
But,
knew that it
I mean,
was.
yeah, but I
That was
mean,
bad.
it's like wrestling does it better.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But I
I
guess
love all the
production.
people that tuned in expecting to see the fight at 8 o'clock. It was like, nah,
No.
needs to go.
No,
yeah,
you guys.
there's a thing. Yeah, there's a thing called the undercard. You know, I mean, Salvatore Bellomo needs a shot too. You know, he has to go out there.
But, you know, we fell for it the first time when Mike Tyson was actually the baddest man on the planet in boxing. Where yes, you would get the pay-per-view at 8 o'clock at night, and then just sit through everything till about midnight when he would beat some poor sucker up in under a minute.
So John, we used to complain that the Tyson fights didn't even last one round, and now we're complaining because it lasted 8 rounds and nobody killed each other. So it's like, let me ask you something. Anybody here think they could go 8 2-minute rounds with somebody about 40 years their senior? They're whatever, younger than them.
No,
it's amazing what he did. He did, of course he was slowing down. We knew it. We were all just hoping that, we were hoping. And then I was telling Deb before the show, guys, that like the stuff Jake Paul is saying now after the fight, he's so classy. He's acting so classy. Like I can't hate him now. He's not a heel. Like I'm like, nah.
Yeah, he leaves that to his brother.
Yes, we still hate this guy, Logan.
Yes.
But I think it doesn't take a boxing fan to know what we were watching. We were watching somebody intending to have 8 rounds.
Right.
That was the goal, right? The goal was to have 8 rounds with Jake Paul as the winner. Period.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I actually saw wrestlers on my Twitter feed posting saying like they could see them calling it in the ring.
Yeah. What is Cena out there? What are we doing?
Right.
I did. There were parts of it, and sorry guys, this is a wrestling show, but there were parts of it that were very pro wrestling to me that I found very, very funny. Obviously, the camera shot of Tyson's ass and the way that the cameraman decided to follow it was so attitude era. Oh my god, that was fantastic.
Yeah, I think the comparisons to Rikishi just were just out there for everyone.
Yes.
Hey, Brooke. All right, let me just real quick go down the list. We have a whole bunch of people in the chat already. John Bay's in there. I see. Hold on a second. I see Neil and I see Seth and I see Ryan's out there. Holy cow, we got a ton of people. Okay, thanks all for joining us. Before we jump into the wrestling talk, there's something that I thought my favorite part of the whole night was that young girl interviewing Tyson. And if you haven't seen it, go look it up because she asks him about legacy and he completely demoralizes it, like, oh, there's no such thing as legacy. You just die and nobody gives a shit. This whole
What do you give a shit about me when I'm dead? It's like,
But she no sold it. She no sold it, and she looked at him and she goes, "Well, thank you for that perspective." I'm like, "Okay, well, she did the thing. Good for her."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to share a real quick story. It's just, I think the power of wrestling is really interesting, really cool, and really like inspiring these days. I was, Shannon and I were out today doing errands, and we were out in the stores and stuff, and I saw a young, probably mid-20s kid with like a Cody Rhodes shirt on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I think we were at Walmart, and so then we wrapped all our stuff up. We go over to Dunkin'. I know, big surprise, right?
Wow.
And we're grabbing our coffee, and this little maybe 10 or 11-year-old girl walks in with a Cody Rhodes shirt on, and it's the full graphic one, like the really nice one.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, okay, I just saw 2 different fans in the space of 20 minutes with Cody Rhodes shirts on, and it was really cool to see a young girl wearing that shirt. It was really cool.
So, what did you think they wanted to talk about?
I said to her, that's a nice shirt, and she just looked at me and walked past, and her dad goes,
she no sold you like that, like the kid
She did.
meant to be Tyson.
Yeah, she's like, who's this old schmuck asking me? I'm like, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was cool. It was cool to see a young kid like that with a shirt, because I mean, Cody's a big deal now. And then so the third Cody thing's coming 3 for me today. Our oldest texted me from work. He works in he runs a customer service tier 3 type of thing for a communications company. And he's like, oh, we're all watching, we always watch football on Saturdays. We watch game day, college game day. And of course, there's Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. I'm like, Cody's everywhere today. Holy shit. Like,
he is. He's the man.
It was crazy.
He's the man. Just us, Dave.
It was
ubiquitous.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, that's a big word.
Yeah.
It is a big word, isn't it?
You gotta lay down now. Take a rest.
You put too much effort in today.
So a fast 10-second explanation. I only know that word from, remember the Jesus Twins were on Howard Stern's show? And they wrote that song. They said, this is going to be the hit on your soundtrack for Private Parts when it comes out. And he's like, what's the name of the song? This song's called Ubiquitous. He's like, you has like who's gonna want to who's gonna want to listen to a song called Ubiquitous? Oh, forget it. So anyway, that's the only reason why I know that stupid word.
Well, I guess vocabulary comes from everywhere.
You learn. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some wrestling.
Okay,
so Lion spells wrestling.
So we titled this episode "Who You Gonna Call the Wise Man?" because that's what everybody was talking about, right? So, last night we're watching SmackDown, and the main event ends, and the graphic comes up. I turned off SmackDown because we always watch Metal Mayhem afterwards, and you guys were like, "Holy shit!" So I had to go back and rewind. I'm like, "Oh my god!" So. Roman, so I have a lot of thoughts about this. I want to get your guys' opinion on this. We saw Roman sort of deciding, the whole decision-making process is going on live in front of us. It's like, should I or shouldn't I? He decides he says, call the wise man. The error message comes up. The out-of-service message comes up. Wise man's changed his number, disconnected, whatever.
Right.
So, John, I'll start with you.
Okay.
What does this mean? Because you're the ECW guy. You're as close to Paul Heyman as any of us, I guess.
And I can go for the obvious joke that Paul Heyman has bounced a check or 2 in the past, especially in ECW days, and maybe forgot to pay his phone bill. I highly doubt that at this point, but it was one of these things we have absolutely seen lately. Especially chinks in the armor for Roman. Roman being vulnerable.
Sorry.
Roman,
you're done.
Yeah, that's my kid chiming in. Good job, kid. But Roman being vulnerable, Roman being put in positions of this vulnerability, this almost despair. And that's what we saw, the look on his face, hearing that message for calling the wise man. Because Paul Heyman has always been his saving grace, his ace in the hole, so to speak. And now he's like, what the fuck do I do? now what? We really saw, like I said, we saw a look of despair on the face of Roman for the first time ever. And the possibility is, now again, speculate wildly. Where's Paul Heyman? Where's Paul Heyman lie in all of this going forward? Has Solo gotten to Paul in the meantime that he's been gone? I've known that Roman and Paul have not talked since basically he got powerbombed. But now it's like this is something else. I mean, you can have different players come in, different people. We saw that last night as well. But now, like, the one constant in all of this from the beginning has been Paul Heyman. And now you have that, they're absolutely casting doubt. Where's the wise man?
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, I if last night taught us anything, there's a lot of experts out there in technology who don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Right.
Okay, and this is not directed towards anybody in the chat, except people are putting this in the chat. Yes, Paul Heyman's phone got smashed before he was attacked. If you smash somebody's phone, their voicemail will still pick up. That does not change your cell service. Okay? Paul Heyman changed his number or disconnected his service because that's why you get the disconnected or out of service. If you take your phone and take a hammer to it, your voicemail will still pick up. Okay? That's how cell service works. So this idea of like, well, they smashed his phone. You just buy a new phone. Your service, your voicemails will be there waiting for you when your new phone gets activated, right? So, yes, they did destroy his phone, but that doesn't disconnect his service. He actually has to call and disconnect the service or change his phone number. So, so one of those things
that was my first thought, is that he changed his number.
But why wouldn't Roman have it?
Well,
why wouldn't he reach out to
They
Roman and
haven't
say, "Hey,
he didn't ask."
I'm just saying, though.
But doesn't that tell us that this is the first time Roman's tried to call him since everything went down?
I thought John was going to
know.
do it. I thought John was going to do an AT&T commercial there for you. Reach out. Why didn't he reach out? Reach out and touch someone.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you from such a long distance. No, front row. I noticed how front row gets picky with the cell service because he used to be an operator. He used to work on AT&T, so it's like
I did.
It's like Brooke goes crazy when you see the EMTs doing stupid shit. Like, Randy Orton has his neck broken, and like guys are just coming. Pick him up, throw him up here on the.
Let's just
it's
talk.
like, he's got a broken neck. Yeah, okay, Jeff, be careful. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, I'm sorry. I do want to get your thoughts, but people are asking for more explanation. So let me break this down real quick.
Oh.
Pick up your phone and turn it off. Turn it off, turn the power off, and your voicemail will still pick up.
Yes.
Because your cell service hasn't been canceled. If you smash the phone, it will still pick up. Your voicemail will still record a voicemail.
I'm not smashing my phone again.
No.
All right, well, that's a you problem. I guess you're just not dedicated to the show, but that's okay. So if you change your phone number or you disconnect your service, then actually not the stuff that happened on TV wouldn't actually happen. That's an old style recording that doesn't really happen anymore, but it's still good for TV. The bottom line is he changed his number or disconnected his service. Mike, why did he do that? What's you asshole?
Sorry.
I didn't hear you. My phone was turned off.
Thank you, Chad.
Don't give him any ideas in case he's watching.
What did I say to you right before we went live? Mongrovian? You're an ass.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Where'd he go? I'm sorry. Oh,
we're back. Okay.
I was put in the corner for a second there.
You disconnected there for a minute.
What are we on Netflix?
Speaking of Paul Heyman, I mean, if Roman really wants to get in touch with them, he's at the meet and greets for about $2.99. He could get a picture and a couple of autographs, and then maybe he could have a couple of words with the wise man then. But Who knows?
Well, Tony might have some answers for us.
Tony, I dare you.
Somebody wants
I
somebody
triple
to
dog
the
dare you,
Verizon
Tony.
store. Look, we all know that Paul Heyman has the good boy phone
And the naughty boy phone.
and the naughty boy phone. Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Jim Norton.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Okay. Anyhow,
Sorry, Mike.
what's next?
I've cut you off like 6 times now. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
So, what were your thoughts?
Thoughts on what we watched last night? You know, about
You don't
24
remember?
hours or so
No.
ago?
I watched it again today. As a matter of fact, it's just
Okay.
it's just the bloodline is not only in wrestling, it's the most compelling storyline going on TV right now. I'd say it's just so.
I don't know. We did have the premiere of Yellowstone last
Yeah,
week.
I would
so-
say that.
Yeah, I don't watch that cowboy shit. I'll leave that to Adam Page. Yeah, it's just it's an amazing story, and and Mark was even bringing it up today on the show that they see him Roman call the wise man, and the audience pops, and then you hear disconnected because his phone was broke.
Right.
And then you hear the audience you hear the air get sucked out of the audience, like they're just like, oh wow. So it's just they just keep us going and going. So
Yeah.
they're gonna keep us on this roller coaster till WrestleMania at least.
I want to ask you guys, because like this is the stuff that's like everything they're doing is so detailed. Like I'm really starting to pay attention to the little shit. Like if you listen to Busted Open, listen to Sam or anybody else that has like an ear for detail or an eye for detail, Roman does these things where he drifts back into the Roman, like I'm in charge of everybody, like everybody falls in line. And they did a thing last night that I thought was really interesting. Before Roman enters the shot, we have Sammy and the Usos talking, and they're standing, they're talking like friends, right? Roman comes in, and they didn't react to him the way that they used to, where they would just all sort of fall in line and we're gonna sit around the tribal chief. Roman sat down in a way that was like, okay, the tribal chief is here, but they no-sold all that.
Yeah.
And he looked away from them, but they just kept talking. I'm like, Roman has this thing in his head where he thinks that everything is the same. Like he stepped back into that position and everybody needs to follow him. And I feel like there's a moment, at least once a week or at least once an appearance, where he's reminded that things are different. The way Sammy talks to him is not the way that Sammy used to talk to him. The way that Jimmy and Jay talk to him is not the way they used to talk to him. They're all speaking as equals, or they are, whether he believes that or not. So I don't know if you guys saw that, or like, I don't know when he's eventually going to come to the realization that he's not that guy anymore.
I think.
Yeah, no, I noticed that.
Yeah,
I noticed that as well.
I think he came to that last night, trying to call the wise man.
Could be, yeah.
Connecting that.
Yeah. It's a slow burn with him, and everything is slow with him. Everything is from his entrance to everything with him. He takes it slow. He's just got the perfect cadence that just keeps you like waited for something, and damn, he's good, man. This is somebody that used to hate him. I used to call him Boomin' Reigns, and like I couldn't stand him, and it was just like, okay, they're shoving him down our throat. But that's how a lot of people felt. But a lot of people liked him. But that's why, like, when people think they know the business, like schmoes like us that just watch the product, and then just because we listen to shows like Busted Open and they peel the curtain back a pinch for us to take a peek, like we think we friggin' know shit, And like when you see Bully when Bully tells us that, when Bully says, I spoke to McMahon 10 years ago, said that's the man that's gonna be putting food on our tables for the next decade.
Yeah,
and that's then when they were shoving them down our throat, and we were all against it. Most of us thought we were all smart, and we weren't.
So, Mike, something that I found absolutely fascinating today, or not today, but this week. I think I sent it to you guys, or maybe it's been everywhere. There's a clip of Jericho from 2020, early 2020, and they're interviewing him talking about Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is the old Roman Reigns, good guy, suffering succotash version, and he's like, "Look, the guy's incredible." But what he needs to do is really go on this incredible heel run. I think he's like, I know the guy Joe. I've worked with him. This is Chris Jericho talking. Like, and he gives this whole layout of how Roman needs to go through adversity and then go on this crazy heel run, and then But the thing that he really talked about was they need to let him be him, because the actual guy is the most interesting version of Roman Reigns. Joe is the most interesting version, and he said he needs to go through this whole run as a heel, and then he will be an enormous baby face. He said one of the biggest baby faces we've ever seen. And at the time you watch that and you go, all right, Jericho, like maybe, but you look at it now and you go, holy shit, everything he said was exactly right.
Yeah,
It turns out Jericho knows a thing or two.
Yeah,
he wasn't even the Ocho then.
I get a sense that like when you see the Jay and Jimmy, they out not in character, they joke around, they're fun. The character Roman compared to Joe is, I think they're both very serious people. Like the guy Joe, if we met him in real life, is probably a super serious guy, and like you say, you turn that character up to 100%, 110. That's what you got. He's an intense dude. I don't think he's like joking around and smiling all the time like the Usos are all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people that work with him. I've heard stories about what a nice guy he is. Like he is the locker room leader. He's the guy in the room, and Cody. But like, up until Cody sort of became Cody, like he was the guy. But he's also the type of guy from what I've heard from interviews and stuff. He will watch matches and coach people and just be like, "This is our team. Our team's going to kick ass. Let's go out there and do the best show." And that's who you want. That's who you want in that position.
I would say different characters, but Cody and Roman are your modern day Rock and Stone Cold. It's like interchangeable. Both like you can't. Yeah, when both come out, there is such a massive pop for both guys. I think, and then you got to throw Jay in there too. I mean, Jay has come into his own right now. I would say Jay is the number one live. He's putting asses in seats just as much as Roman and Cody.
Oh yeah, I mean the proof is in the crowds. Every time he comes out,
they go crazy. They all get their cardio in.
Yeah, and if you look at WWEshop.com, the sheer number of pieces in his merch store is
the
just
sunglasses,
ridiculous.
the shirts,
yeah.
Forget about it, and the OTC too. Don't forget that. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, between the Cody's, like you said, front row, you see in the Cody merch, they're just firing on all freaking cylinders. And I know we used to talk about, they don't want, people are, we're not making anyone a superstar, but they are. Yeah,
I feel like they're past
people
that
to
now.
become superstars and names, household names again. And I think it's refreshing.
I think it's super cool because, and Ryan says, who's the Cody and who's the Stone Cold? It's
I don't mean character. I don't mean character wise or moves or anything. I'm saying as far as the 1 and 2 guy. Back in the Attitude Era, there was The Rock and Stone Cold, and it didn't matter who was who, and people loved both.
Well, I think for me, when we talk about this, because you go back to the Attitude Era and you had Rock and Stone Cold and Undertaker and Mankind, and the list goes on of like main event stars, right? And then the Cena era, it was basically Cena and everybody else. But now, and we've talked about this before here, now there was a Roman's the guy, but our Cody could be the guy. Like, that's arguable. Jay's making big moves. He's drawing huge numbers, and the women's division is drawing massive ratings. like they're spiking ratings like crazy because you have some of the best athletes on the planet. Like you're entering an era where they have 20 people who could be in a main event match and you wouldn't bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
Which is
and not
crazy.
to mention the tag team divisions too. Now tag teams are heating up like I mean, for years we were like, okay, they had you had the New Day and whatever, back or whatever, Now it's just like
now we got Motor City Machine Guns.
and everybody's vying for them, and it's crazy. It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think because like, and John, I think we talked about this, on Zoom the other night. Like, I know you're a tag team guy. Motor City Machine Guns coming in and winning the title so quickly would kind of make you go, maybe that's a bit rushed. But then you see what they're doing with they're rebuilding the vision with these new guys to WWE, like these credible, and they've done so much. They've done such a good job of building equity and letting the fans know how important they are. But then they're putting them in the ring with, and just the Street Profits. I mean, the list of people that they're going to be put up against to build those titles back up, I think is important.
And I like how everyone is boiling over, like in the tag. Dawkins punching him in the face. Ciampa going off.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of pressure on these tag teams, and I like what they're doing. It's like all these veterans of the WWE tag team system, all of a sudden these Motor City Machine Guns come in, and they took over. They have the titles, and like everyone, like all this is kissing their ass, and like all these tag teams are like, what the hell, So and then you got, and another thing I'm glad about with the tag teams, and I'm sure you are too, John, is the War Raiders. I mean, we finally got like we got them back. I know it's not their original name, but at least
it's not War Machine, but I will absolutely take it over everything else they've done.
Yeah, because that's what we think. War.
Yeah.
War. Not real war. War in the ring. Cut the crap. This is fun.
Nobody said anything.
No, I'm just saying.
You're always battling these imaginary forces that are out to get you.
I imagine a lot of stuff. It's a lot in my head. That Randy Orton isn't the only one with the voices in his fucking head.
Well, let me know if you're winning. Speaking of Randy Orton,
I never win. There's this voice that sounds like Jackie. I always lose to that one.
Shout out to Jackie.
Great transition, Mike. Speaking of Randy Orton is sidelined with injury again, with storyline injury, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. It was fantastic the way that they did it with the pile driver. It was fantastic the way that they sold it in the promos and in the videos and in the social media, and the fact that everybody is talking about this banned move, which was legitimately not allowed in WWE for 11 years. Like, it was outside of Undertaker and Kane. Nobody was allowed to use it. So now you've got Randy Orton injured, and we get this Cody Rhodes in the ring, not in a suit. It's just Cody with the t-shirt, his cool new t-shirt, available on shop.com right now.
Yes.
But it was a stripped down Cody. It was the angry Nick Aldis. You better fucking fix this, because I need some retribution, comeuppance, whatever. Right. Like, I need all this stuff. So I want to ask you guys, because two things. I want to get your thoughts on Cody's promo, and I also want to get your thoughts on the in-car Kevin Owens. I won't even call it a promo, just the video that he sent in. So, John, since we skipped over you.
Okay. Cody absolutely gave a very impassioned and very focused promo. And being opposite Nick Aldis, much like Randy and Triple H a few weeks ago leading up to Saudi Arabia, it had that very same vibe to it. And I like the fact that most of us and most WWE fans know Nick as a general manager. He comes out in the tailored suit, always on point, this and that. Nick Aldis is 100% a credible wrestler. It still is.
Oh, yeah.
He just gets paid more money to be a general manager right now. But make no mistake, the national treasure will throw down. And I'm hoping that comes sooner rather than later. But,
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that Cody appealed to him as a former wrestler, and the fact that that's an interesting dynamic because Cody and Nick Aldis have in-ring history.
Yeah, and at the time, what am I correct, John? Wasn't Cody a heel at that time when he was going against Aldis? Like Aldis was the face.
No.
No,
Nick
not really.
Nick was
Absolutely.
because Nick was a heel. Nick was a heel champion in the NWA.
Okay, no, when Cody, I'm sorry, when Cody and Brandy came into TNA into Impact, that's where he was a heel. Okay, yeah, you're right.
But,
sorry.
So you have that interesting dynamic, and again, excellent promo from Cody, because it wasn't Cody Rhodes, I'm the champion, cutting a promo in the ring. This was Cody Rhodes talking about his friend Randy Orton and talking about a former friend in Kevin Owens. And that's what absolutely sold it. Now, on the other side of that, talking about selling and absolutely making an impact, Kevin Owens, I guess they didn't have any Lambos in the rental fleet because he was just in a regular car at hers. But regardless, just Kevin Owens and sitting in a car, cutting this amazing promo, and the conviction at what he says. And granted, yes, part of you were saying, "Oh, this is all scripted, this is all story," but you absolutely believe that he believes every single word he's saying.
That there is no way I believe that anybody put any of those creative people put a pen to paper, or typed in a word for Kevin Owens to say. They just said, Kevin, cut a promo, and he did.
Yeah.
And that man is, that's your 5-tool, that's your quintessential 5-tool player.
Yeah.
He cuts a promo,
like I said,
crazy in the ring. Just amazing. And God, is he funny and mad? And I just want to point out, these three guys are faces, but they all are amazing heels, and especially Orton and Kevin Owens are amazing friggin' heels. So they can all really, what they have between each other is really good, because they could heel the F out of each other and still go over as faces. And I agree with Kevin Owens. He's totally right with everything he's pissed off about.
Yeah, and Deb, I want to ask you, because we were talking about this the other night about how every villain is the hero in their story, and you hear the impassioned pleas from Kevin Owens. I just did what they told me. I don't know what the problem is. They told me I told them there was going to be a problem. They wanted me to go, and they got exactly what what I promised them. I don't know what they were expecting. I didn't do anything more than what I told them I was going to do. So it's their fault. It's like, look what you made me do.
He has a point. And yeah, one of the things about Kevin Owens, same quality that Cody has, is that when he talks, you really feel that he really feels that way. And yeah, everything that KO said, to him, that's his truth. That's what he really feels. And yeah, he's pretty convincing.
What I love about that video is he goes into this thing about, I get to go see Cody. He does this really over the top. Oh my God, I finally such a satirical, such a condescending. Yes. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yes.
Prick.
Yes.
Yeah, but he doesn't look at it that way. He's like, why are you guys? And you go back to the Nick Aldis thing where Kevin wants to come in and do what he has to do to make things right. And Cody's like, yeah, I want to fight that guy. And Nick's like, I can't allow that. That's not right. He's like, I can't let these people walk all over me. He's probably the most credible GM we've had in 20, 25, 30 years.
For sure. Agreed.
and he's not going to let them just push him around. Clearly, not physically or
Yeah.
in storyline. And to John's point, like Nick's a big dude, so like when
Yeah.
he's in the ring, he's a presence. So
he's got a lot of gas left in the tank.
There's been a lot of GMs over the years, and sometimes they're just kind of there to fit like the role of like the person that the wrestlers go to say, hey, I want to make this match. Okay, you got it. And
Right.
Nick is there like, no, that's not how this works. Like, I'm your boss.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah, it's a lot different when you get in the face of Paul Heyman or Eric Bischoff compared to first of all, you step on a box, and then you get in the face of Nick Aldis.
Right.
And then if you're lucky, you don't get knocked off of that box.
Yes.
He's an imposing dude. I took a picture
really
with
is.
the guy.
Yeah.
And really, listen, I know Scrap Daddy was an NWA champ, but I mean, nobody represented five times. Sorry, Scrap Daddy. All due respect to you, sir. That Sweet Charlotte over the shoulder of, or the way Nick held it with the reverence, and he's got to do something in WWE before he puts those boots in the middle of the ring. It's been too long
since we saw him in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Before he loses those boots in the ring, I want to see him again in a WWE ring.
Yeah, and I've said this. You guys are sick of hearing me say it, but like being in the room with Nick in the early NWA, listening to his promos, that guy is the real deal. Like we're gonna get to see that version of him in WWE at some point, and not even in the ring. I mean, just on the mic, he's at some point gonna have enough, and somebody's gonna be on the receiving end of a Nick Aldis promo. Right now,
he's a presence. He's a presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like
for sure.
There's wrestlers, and then there's people that are like when Mark Henry comes into a room, that's a presence. There's something about him.
Yes.
And that's what.
Well, he's very large.
Might be the 6 foot wide shoulders. I don't know. Whatever. It's something.
Okay, there was a ton of stuff that happened. I want to get to a few things. Every week I like to give a shout out to my favorite character, and the little mini storyline that's going on right now with Pete Dunne and R-Truth is killing me. They carried it to social media.
Butch, don't forget Butch. Butch is part of that.
Well, according to R-Truth on Twitter, Butch is now after Pete Dunne, so he has to be careful. Pete has to be careful because Butch is stalking him. So I think that was interesting. It's important to note.
All right, so so just so I'm clear, because I'm not as social media savvy as of late. We've moved past Dominic, and now we're to Butch and Pete.
Oh no, that is still ongoing.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm just want to make sure I'm clear. Because R-Truth is way smarter than I am. That he figures all this out, and
R-Truth keeps all that powder dry, man. He's ready to make anybody, break. He's ready.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so good. And every little thing that they do is so good. So I'm gonna give you guys my no yeet, even though we don't really have a no yeet, and then I want to get your opinion on the new women's title. I was not a fan of Final Testament beating up White 6 last week. I don't know that necessarily helps the group, but I'm sure they're going somewhere with it because I have a high level of confidence in their storytelling. But when it happened, I was like, okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it wait and see, or do you just not care yet?
I don't really care. And there's honestly, for me personally, there's a lot of the storylines in WWE I don't really have much investment in right now.
Yeah, the Wyatt Six came in as a real horror show, and they went away from that, and that's the horror aspect was what intrigued me.
It's not what we thought it was going to be.
Crazy about people laughing maniacally. I mean, a year or so ago, they had Liv doing that same crap, like getting this shit beat out of her, and she just keeps laughing. And I'm not a fan of that. I'm as much a fan of something like that happening as I am Orange Cassidy popping up every time he gets 25 pile drivers on the steel steps. You know,
I want it to be so good, and I really want it to be great.
And it's got to have
I
that horror
just
aspect. But
something's not clicking.
They already went away from it because Chad Gable should have been scared of them. Instead, he goes, "I figured out who it is. That's Bo Dallas." You know, and it would just you ruined it. And then other people going, "Oh, did you see that? Better stay away from them." And you know, they should have just been decimating everybody. I don't get make the audience hate them and fear them. Same thing with Michael Cole. He was never him and the other guy. They were never scared. McAfee. They were never scared.
Yeah, it's a fair point. We had so much excitement with all the QR codes and all the what are they going to do, and they did a wonderful job with that part of the storytelling.
And the vignettes. Don't forget those.
Yeah, for sure. But even understanding that what they're wrestlers, we have to see them. We have to view them as wrestlers. We can't view them as supernatural characters because that makes no sense in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
But you're right. The horror aspect of it, I was totally like, okay, laying waste backstage and all that other stuff.
So you could.
I love the way the characters look
into the ring too. You know, you could do.
You
could incorporate it into the ring. Like Dexter is super creepy. Gacy is creepy. People are scared shitless of Redbeard. I mean, come on, the guy's friggin' a beast.
Yeah.
So
I love the way they look. I just think there's just a disconnect with the story right now that it's just not fitting.
Yeah,
they'll find
agreed.
something. It's all that Whataburger picture. It goes all the way back to that.
Oh, stop.
You're never gonna give that one up, are you?
No.
So I did want to spend some time talking a little AEW before we go. We don't have much time left, but Full Gear is next week, and me and Seth and Neil are going.
Yay!
I'm super excited about it. Whether or not you're into the weekly show, AEW's pay-per-views always seem to deliver. So it's going to be really, really fun, I think. And so far we have on the card. We have Hangman versus Jay White. We have the Tag Team Championship 4-way, which we know Private Party and the Outrunners are in. And we have a match tonight that will decide one of the other teams.
Outrunners.
I know. Outrunners are so over right now. The fans have really gotten behind them. We also have Jack Perry versus Danny Garcia. Mercedes versus Statlander. Swerve versus Bobby Lashley. And I think like the storyline with the MVP and the Hurt Syndicate is really starting to get interesting. Like I think that there's still a lot of things like fans are kind of, speculating, trying to figure out what's going to happen. And then we have Mox versus Orange Cassidy. And I personally am extremely stoked for that. I remember the first AEW show we went to in Philly, their third ever show. And I have some pictures of Mox and OC from that show. And oh my God, seeing both of them, and seeing both of them in the ring going against each other it's going to be an incredible match. And I'm super excited about the prospect that we might be in the building when OC wins. If
nice.
OC wins.
Hey, Ryan is right. Shelton does look 25. I know
yes, he does.
There's that old saying, black don't crack. But I mean, that guy is just, he's got the fountain of youth somewhere that he found, and he's not sharing it with anybody. I don't know.
He got some of that Billy Gunn sweat on him.
He's a modern day Ponce de Leon, and he found the fountain of youth. I don't know, man. He looks like Bully always says it, and it's so believable that he could stretch out 99% of the youngsters back there in any locker room, not just go through. That's a guy that was toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, both of them in their prime. I mean, yeah. And Ryan, you're also right. The Outrunners are what wrestling needs. They are definitely
It's just
what
fun.
needs.
It's fun. Like, we love wrestling and we love the in-ring action, but we all need that kind of mix of the wrestling and the different styles of actual wrestling there
and
are.
we need the Outrunners
and the entertainment and the fun and just the goofy shit.
Yeah, Deb, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa backstage.
Yeah. Oh my God.
With Renee.
Yeah.
I was dying. I was dying.
I wish they would Renee. I don't know how she doesn't break. I don't know how she does it.
She's a
Whether
professional.
it's Chris Statlander picking her up and bench pressing her, or just all of the surprise, Jericho and his antics. But this Harley and Renee, and then what Mina, I forget about it. I mean,
it's just extremely entertaining, and we
when they had
always
the
need
tit
some
shove,
room in every show for the super entertaining stuff.
Oh, by the way, for that little breast shove that those two had, my money's on Deb, man. Deb knocked both of them out. Boom, right out of the picture. All girl Deb.
Yeah, but you gotta click the link for that.
Okay.
I do agree. I do agree about the Renee thing, because even earlier in the show, there was the backstage. She was doing the interview, and without even looking, she's just holding the mic, doing the whole thing without even looking. It was just so instinctual. It was amazing, and she.
Let's not forget her standing back there with Chicken too. I mean, really, the characters that
Renee
has to keep a straight face for.
Renee doesn't no sell. She adds just the right reaction to everything.
She's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
She's perfect. Yeah.
So good.
And so I think there's been a lot of discussion about AEW. Like, they were talking a lot about it this week on Busted Open and various other podcasts about, kind of how do they get out of the slump. And, I do think that pretty much the discussion that was had on Busted Open was that it would have been on Thursday. I agreed with pretty much all of their points. I thought they made extremely good points on pretty much anything they said, even though I enjoyed Wednesday's Dynamite. Obviously, there's always things that can be changed, adjusted, tweaked, whatever. And I think that the major storylines that are happening are definitely starting to garner more attention. And it's just, I think it's just a slow process. It's just going to be a slow process. And obviously there's major changes that have to happen to make everything a lot better. But I personally am happy with the way the stories are going so far, and adding those elements of the entertainment stuff. I think they're killing it on the promos and vignettes lately.
When are they coming to the Hammerstein?
I can't remember when that was.
Is that
December?
25?
January,
right? Yes, January.
So I mean that seems like a positive thing to me, because I know Tommy had said on the show that he knows that running a show in the Manhattan Center or in the city, that's very expensive. But we have a guy that says, hey, I want to rent this, I want to get this ACD. I want to get this Metallica song for Sting tonight on one show. And I'm doing it. So he's someone that will reach into his back pocket and do what needs to be done.
And I think wasn't it even
sell out. Yeah, that'll sell out. That'll be
God, it will. Yeah. And wasn't it even Bully's suggestion in the first place?
Yes.
We need that. They need that. They need the look of a packed place going crazy.
Yes. I think that will be key. That will be key to have, smaller venue. I know everybody's been saying this forever. But smaller venues so that it looks like it's a packed house.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I'm only a casual AEW. I did watch Dynamite this week, and while I do agree with some of the criticisms, I also think there were some bright spots from a storyline perspective. I think that what they're doing with Camille and Mercedes and Statlander is very interesting, because we've seen the way that Mercedes treats Camille. Right, we've seen the way that she talks down to her and all that stuff, and that's eventually going to boil.
I cannot wait till Camille hoists her over her head and Spike Dudley's her ass into the third row somewhere. I will stand and cheer loudly when that happens.
But
I think that is going to get a huge pop.
Here's my
This is what
question.
we always thought was gonna. This is what we always thought would be. As soon as we saw Camille come out with Mercedes, we knew that somewhere down the line, she's gonna push the envelope too far, push Camille too far, and Camille's gonna snap her in two. The thing is, this is the problem that we have. It's a month.
Yeah.
She came in, lost her first freaking. This is a woman that was Nick Aldis's, bringing up Nick again.
No, Camille's been there longer than a month.
He was his bodyguard for a year. She didn't say a word for a year. Remember the t-shirt,
Yeah.
silence is
But no, I think the thing is, like, we can't dwell on how they brought her in. That's done. It's in the past. We move forward and talk about okay, what is it going to be from now on? What's the future? We can't just dwell on, oh well, they did this and they did this and they did this.
Yeah, it's not dwelling.
Look to the future.
Because I love Camille. I just feel like I said, John, do you agree? Like Camille should be presented the same way as Marina Shafir is.
Yeah.
Like people should be looking, over their shoulder.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're gearing up for.
Yeah, but that Mike is not a fair comparison. Marina Shafir lately, yes, that's how Camille should have been brought in as. Because Marina Shafir since day one wasn't. She wasn't basically was an also ran. And now it's like, oh my God, Marina's amazing. No, she's always been amazing.
We saw her in Bloodsport, and we were like, "This is what we want." We saw her fighting Speedball Mike Bailey, and that's what we want.
I want to go back to what Front Row was going to say because we cut him off.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
No. So here's what I think is really interesting is they have a big opportunity with these people because Camille's awesome. I'm a big fan of Camille. Big fan of everybody involved in the storyline. I've seen Chris Statlander wrestle a million times locally and all this other stuff. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I think that. Because if you shy away from the fact that Mercedes is this big, high-priced like main event star who's not in main event storylines, if you actually let the story play out organically and let Mercedes' character just go the way it's going to go, rather than trying to force this woman to be a babyface that nobody likes, like there's so much opportunity in the story that they can tell with Camille and Mercedes. But I agree, don't rush it. Like. Give it time. Let Camille take the punishment or the embarrassment or whatever you want to say. Let that low a few months. But I agree. This is one of the biggest, in my opinion, one of the most interesting storylines that they have. And I think that the Statlander thing just lends a lot more to it because of her size, because she matches up so well against Camille. If you had a smaller wrestler matched up with Mercedes, then Camille would just beat them up. So I like this. I don't think it takes away from Camille's presence when you have somebody that's as powerful as Chris Statlander.
Well, first of all, Chris Statlander, like a half hour before she went after Camille was a heel, but that's beside the point.
Yeah,
I just made a homemade chicken soup tonight. So you get everything chopped up, you get all the ingredients, you bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you don't serve it after it comes to a boil. You got to lower the heat and let it simmer a little while. Then it'll be soup. The problem here is sometimes a lot of the storylines you're intrigued with, but they're serving it to us too fast and it's not soup yet.
But then we have to also allow them to take it slow instead of just saying, well we want this out of this story and we want this out of this character. Give them time, allow them to take it slow and get there.
I made the point, and you guys have heard it. We've always discussed it. TK needs his Pat Patterson. He needs his Pat Patterson to say, hey, that works, but did you ever think of this way? Like that's and not like not like, oh, that's a stupid idea, or no, it's not gonna, but somebody to just have a back and forth with TK, and he's because at the end of the day, I mean, the guy loves wrestling. The guy's got a ton of fucking money. He wants to put on these shows. It's just he's got to learn how to just draw in more of the audience than just the 3,000 people that are going to the shows.
And these are the growing pains. It's going to take some time to establish.
Well, it's over 5 years. I'm tired of that to growing pains.
no, but
No, that's
see,
still
how
fair
is-
though,
how
because
is
that's not a
WWE
good
after 5
argument.
years?
It's not
That-
good. That's not a good argument, though, Mike. And here's why. For 5 years, AEW has done this 100,000 miles an hour, spot after spot after spot of wrestling, to the point where they have conditioned their fans and their fan base to be to this breakneck full speed.
And they pretty much had to at the start because it was the exciting news show and there was a lot of fans that were yearning for that more exciting, more fast-paced type of wrestling show.
But I like fast paced too, but I like some time to breathe, some time to digest what
and
just
that's the
happened.
things that have to be kind of figured out over time.
The
Right,
other
and
night, every single match was a run in. And what was led into the other match, lead in and run in and
but okay,
and
so Bully says it all the
Orange
time, ebbs
Cassidy
and
gets
flows.
jumped,
We went
yay.
through
Cassidy
periods
goes
of
against
time with
Moxley,
WWE.
yay. It's all yay.
Hang on. We can't have a show with everybody talking over each other.
We went through periods of time with WWE where it was very much the same, and they made their way out of it. So it's not an end all be all. Just because it's like it now doesn't mean it's always going to be like that.
And I love
Things
it.
take time to figure out, and people have to give them that time. We've seen so many ups and downs in WWE over the years.
I want to make a comparison. AEW launched, and the matches were fast paced, but there was a lot of characters and story, and people were really invested. And then over time, it sped up, and some of the stories fell off. Now they're starting to realize, okay, if you want to pack a house, if you want to sell pay-per-views, you have to sell stories and characters. I think it's similar to NXT. NXT Black and Gold was some hard-hitting AEW Ring of Honor style matches, but it was all very good character and story. And then we had 2.0, which was all match. And now they're back in. They've now mellowed into and molded into this new version. I think it's a similar path.
Right. It's just going to take time.
Yeah,
it's just the NXT fans, grinded through the period of time where the show wasn't that great, and look at it now.
Yeah. And I definitely hope for the best too, because there's some wrestlers over there that I absolutely love watching, and there's some great storytellers over there. And like what we're seeing with Mox, Mox is an incredible storyteller. Although I did hear on Busted Open today, there was somebody that pitched the idea of Dean Ambrose coming in sometime soon, and I'm like, oh no. It was a caller, it wasn't a host. It wasn't Monica or Denise.
Well,
but the caller was like,
when you go to the phones.
I think
Dean Ambrose
why doesn't R-Truth pop over there and go, hey, you look a lot like Dean Ambrose?
That would be amazing.
Oh my God, could you imagine? Oh
that would be cool. Wouldn't that be a crossover everybody would love? I mean, well, why wouldn't TK? Why would
just do it in an airport?
And Triple H hug over that?
That could be on social
that
media.
is?
That doesn't have to be on TV.
Yeah. That is my hope, that as time goes on, that these two companies get to a place where they can have things like that. Not necessarily a co-promotion type thing, but where they can coexist in harmony, and maybe let R-Truth show up on Dynamite, just to say a stupid joke. Like I would just love if at some point in the years to come, if they get to a place like that.
Have R-Truth come through the halls of AEW, go, hey Dean, hey Sasha.
Like wouldn't that be great? Like just no no big drama controversy over it. It's just, this is all pro wrestling, and he works for there, but he also knows everybody there.
And it would make the fans happy. The fans, well, except for the tribalists. The tribalists can, go suck eggs, but who cares?
Suck it.
Yep, agreed. Yeah. All right, folks. I think it is time to let people go. I think Collision started.
And we have Mina on TV, so.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, we already lost one viewer.
Oh, there we go. We're down to Neil.
Hi, Neil.
Bye, Neil.
All right, Deb, where
Anywho.
can people find you on the socials?
At That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine and the Instagram and the Blue Sky now.
Yep. Cool. Mike?
Mongrovian Mike. There you go. Nothing
Easy,
long-winded. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm gonna be going to the Cat Pro show, and I got a little gift from the Nation's Corner, a little wedding gift for the bride and for the Gnome Lee couple.
Yes.
The
And,
Gnome League.
Yes.
That's funny.
The Savage Gnomes, the couple
Savage
of the year,
Gnomes.
they're great, and I just wanna be able to congratulate a couple of the Creative Pro alumni that are in the WWE ID program. Bryce Donovan, part of the Shook crew, congratulations, and Aaron Rourke, Evil Gay, the man, the dime piece. He is freaking great, and I can't wait for the world to discover these guys. And there's more people at Creative Pro and all of these great independent shows. Go to independent shows. Don't just live on AEW and WWE alone. Go there.
Agreed. John?
At Twisted Metal Fab on the Instagram and the Twitter. Keep up with the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling, the Ass Kicker 9K at Ass Kicker 9K on Instagram. And a quick shout out tonight. The t-shirt tonight is for the matriarch of Mayhem, Miss Sawyer Wreck, who is participating tonight in her last Nick Gage Invitational down in Tampa, Florida, and is also taking a step away from wrestling for a time period. Don't know how long, could be permanent, may not be, hopefully not. Just want to give her a shout out and a big thank you. She is also the sometimes tag team partner of another show favorite and friend, the motherfucking King, Kylan King. They are the overreactors. And I just wanted to give her a shout out, and hopefully we will see her again soon.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And I am PW Front Row on all the socials. You can find us at Nation's Corner on Twitter and the Nation's Corner everywhere else. We now are also on the Sky of Blue, thanks to our social media team. Check us out over there. We are closing in very quickly on WrestleCade, which is just less than 2 weeks away. We're going to be doing stuff. John and I will be there representing the crew. We've got stuff going on all day Friday, all day Saturday, and
Call the wise man.
One option is the Wiseman Group of Keller Williams on Sewell Street in Portland.
Fucking Siri.
fucked out.
Siri sucks. She's the worst.
Anywho.
So we got a bunch of fun stuff planned. We're excited to go. So we'll be reporting live from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with a lot of your favorites. A lot of good people are going to be there. I am looking forward to meeting Bull Nakano. She's the person I'm going to meet. And there's like 150 other great wrestlers there. So, all right, folks, enjoy your evening. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks. Later.